Okay, so the latest Man City transfer news. There's been a few developments on Leroy Sane, which we're going to talk about. And also we'll have a little look at Harry Maguire, that transfer impending. And the surprise introduction of a Brazilian central defender now linked to Man City, Murilo Cerqueira, which is quite a surprise one. It's a bit of a bolt out of the blue, but we'll have a good look at him. Who is he? Where's he from? Is he any good? And you know, how's he come to the fore really? What's his motivation for a move possibly to Man City? So let's start with Leroy Sane first. Now, you know, I think Sane is an absolutely superb player, and if he wasn't in the Man City squad and was available on the market, you'd be, in current climate, you'd be talking about Man City paying 50, 60, 70 million for him. Yes, he's not a regular in the side, but when he is, he's got some great stats. As we all know, lacking in confidence, there's question marks against his attitude, his body language isn't good. Now, played for Germany, good win for Germany the other day, and you know, he could have put this all to bed in the press conference, but it was very telling that he didn't actually come out and give any information whatsoever. He didn't say, look, I want to be a Man City player, I want to commit, we just need to sort out the details on the extension on the contract. And that's very telling that, you know, as a Man City employer, as a Man City player, 2 years left on his contract, you think if that's where he saw his future being, he would have put it to bed there and then, but he didn't. So now Bayern Munich, apparently there's no official bid yet. Bayern Munich have been pumping out lots of sort of press regarding Leroy Sane, saying that you know, the money's going to be too high, I don't think the deal. So they're obviously preparing the ground for a negotiation. I'm not so sure. I think Leroy Sane would be an excellent fit for Bayern Munich, but I'm not so sure that that's where Leroy Sane wants to end up. Now, recently we've heard the news, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid and Antoine Griezmann. It's, you know, virtually confirmed that Griezmann will be going from Atletico to Barcelona. And I think his release clause is about 108 million. And you've also got Rodri, who's, you know, deciding where his future lies. So don't be surprised to see Atletico Madrid come in for Leroy Sane. There's talk that they were looking at João Felix, and I have my views on him, and you know, great player, but not the finished article. Leroy Sane, I think, is a step above him in development, and Atletico Madrid will need some firepower next season with Griezmann. Looks like he's going to Barcelona. So I expect, heard nothing to justify it, but I expect Atletico Madrid to come in for Leroy Sane. He may well prefer the Spanish league over the German league. Who knows? But I think that would also be a good fit for Atletico as well. So they'll have the money, obviously, with the sale of Griezmann and other sales that are impending there. So financially, I think they'll be able to meet what Man City will want for him. I think they'll be able to meet the demands of Sane for a contract. So don't be too surprised to see that one hitting the news shortly. Now, obviously, the big news, unknown name, Murilo Cerqueira, the Brazilian central defender, has been linked to Man City, and this one totally out of the blue. You know, all the talk has been about Harry Maguire, and I still think that Harry Maguire is Pep Guardiola's first choice, and everybody talks about, you know, 60, 70, 80 million, and 80 million being too much, but you know, if it's the right player, I think Pep Guardiola will make that commitment. He paid 50 million for Kyle Walker as a right back. I think the central defender position is imperative. That Man City aren't desperate for a central defender. I mean, Vincent Kompany was missing, I think, for about 20 matches, either on the bench or injured last year, and they did, you know, perfectly fine without him. Could be argued that when they dropped points, it was when he wasn't in the team. But you know, they've got three good options there: John Stones, Laporte, Garcia. I still feel that Pep Guardiola is dabbling with the idea of John Stones possibly as a holding midfielder. don't know, not convinced that that's where his position is. But there is that option, and he keeps dabbling with it every now and again. I mean, more so the previous year than this year, but that is an option for him. But back to Murilo Cerqueira. Who is he? Is he any good? Where's he from? What's his background? Well, he's a 22-year-old Brazilian central defender. He plays for a team called Cruzeiro Esporte in the Brazilian Serie A league. So now he's been right through their youth setup there. So he's a one-club player, very settled past. He broke into the first team in 2017. I think he had 21 appearances for them in 2017. In the 2018 season, I think another 21 appearances for them. So he was looking pretty established. Now, the Brazilian league is only 8 matches in 2019, so there's only 8 matches going. Cruzeiro currently sit 14th in the league out of 20, and they've played 8 matches, and he's only featured in 1 game. So something has gone wrong from 2017 and 18 to this current season, and it's very difficult to find much about him to see what's happened. But obviously he's unhappy. He's not a starting choice. I think they've played 6 cup matches, and again he's only appeared in 1 of those. So 14 matches so far in the 2019 Brazilian season. He's played two games. So that's where his motivation is to look. Now, he's currently playing in an international tournament in Toulon. It's the Maurice Revello Tournament. It's an under-22. He's playing for the Brazilian international under-22 side. And, they're doing very well. And it could well be that media have come out, watched him and said, what a superb defender. I mean, they're unbeaten in the tournament. They're in the final on Saturday playing Japan. I think they played four matches. I mean, I'll run through the results for you so you can see. 4-0, 4-0, 5-0 and 2-0. But don't get too excited. The level of competition isn't that great. I mean, first match was Guatemala. They beat 4-0. Second match, the France under-18 team. So, a lot of those players, potentially could be 4 years younger. Beat them 4-0. Qatar, the under-23 Qatar team, they beat them 5-0. And the Republic of Ireland under-21 team, they beat 2-0. Now, incidentally, England were the current holders of that team. They had an under-20 team in that and didn't get through the group stages, so they got knocked out. But the level of the tournament ain't great. But you could argue that he's been in a team that's kept a clean sheet right through the tournament, right to the final, and that may be what sparked the media interest in him. Now, I've looked at a few highlights of the Maurice Revello Tournament and the Brazil highlights, but obviously when Brazil are winning 4-0 and 5-0, there's not a lot to show of the defending. It's all the Brazilian tricks and shots and goals, etc. So there's not a lot to say. I have looked back at some of his footage from the 2017-18 season, and he's a player. He's a sturdy lad. He's a fully grown adult. He isn't one of these that's still filling out. He looks like a younger Vincent Kompany. He moves a bit like him. On the face of it, he doesn't look over quick, but he very rarely does anyone seem to get past him, and he recovers well if they do. He looks to have great positioning. He seems to be in the right place at the right time, which is a key skill for a central defender. A good central defender makes it look very easy, and that's because they read the game, they're in the right place at the right time, and he does. He looks like he's got the correct body shape. He's got great awareness around him. He reads it really well, but nevertheless, this is in the Brazilian league. Lot different style of football to the Premier League. I think it'd be a good signing for Man City. It's a very difficult one. It's a bit of a risk, bit of a gamble. The talk is he's 10-15 million. So you've got Harry Maguire sat there 60, 70, 80 million. You've got Murilo, known as Murilo, at 10 or 15 million. I'm sure the scouts have been looking. They've been looking at the analysis of him. Potentially it could be worth a punt. People keep referring to Van Dijk when he was at Celtic. Nobody came in for him apart from Southampton. I think he went for about 14 million. and you know, even at 76 million going to Liverpool, he's seen as the bargain of the century. Harry Maguire was you know, kicking about the lower leagues for many years. You know, Jamie Vardy, another Leicester player, kicking about the lower leagues. So there is, you know, if he's scouted correctly, he could well be a great signing. On the face of it, you know, he's been in the Brazilian under-20 side, the Brazilian under-22 squad. So obviously the international coaches think very highly of him. He spent 2 seasons in the first team in the Serie A Brazilian league. So there's something there, but there's something gone wrong this year which has caused this name to be linked to Man City. It would be interesting to know what's gone wrong at his Brazilian club. You know, I hear they've got a couple of more senior defenders that are taking priority. But, you know, there's opportunities come along like this, and this might just be the one for Man City. The news is that they're not looking at buying attacking players. They're looking to strengthen with a central midfielder, a central defender, and, you know, 10-15 million pound could be worth a gamble. We'll keep you updated, obviously, of any news we hear on that one. If you like the channel, like the video, please like and subscribe below. I'd appreciate that. And thank you for watching.